Okay, hello. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah. For those of you that do, hi, it's Sazi, and I like to talk. Having said that though, there are thousands of words that I have forgotten, hundreds of conversations that I can barely remember, and also texts that have been deleted and books that I can barely retain. However, words are still something that hold a very special place in my heart, and the words that have stuck out the most to me during my life are often words that were written hundreds of years ago or words spoken by people that I love. Words have also been important to me in times of uncertainty, and in the last 6 months I have been going through a complete life upheaval and challenge. My brother passed away in November 2025, and he was my best friend, and reading and writing was one of the few experiences that we really shared and held as our thing. And so through losing him, it's been a real challenge in order to figure out my own personal relationship with language again. My brother had a Substack, and I now also have one. And in my latest Substack, I wrote a bit about how I'm waiting for the next 6 months to be my second half of my Job story. And I was thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking, why did I say that? What does that even mean? And then that led me to think, why does it matter what I meant by it? Why do the words that I used matter? Why is it that so often when we're heartbroken, angry, in love, hopeful, or scared, we often turn to words and reach for language as our comfort and safety blanket? We write diaries, we call our friends, we pray, and we tell stories. We search for words because we're trying to make meaning, and meaning is one of the few things that help us survive difficult moments. I think the most fascinating thing about language is its ability to give you autonomy, but also connect you with so many different people who have lived so many different experiences. Words belong to everyone, but it never means exactly the same thing to any two people. For example, take a word like home. Everyone understands it, but everyone imagines it differently. Different people, different smells, different memories, different emotions. And that's the beauty of language. It gives us a shared space without requiring identical experiences, and it allows millions of people to understand one another while remaining completely unique. We've entered a really scary age of humanity where linguistics are no longer used to connect people but to cause division, whether politically, whether socially, or even cause you to be fragmented between what it is that you present and what it is that you think. Words don't need to have a set definition. Words can matter to different people for different reasons. But one of the things that I've always felt very convicted about is that eventually, when I get a partner, I need them to be literate. Why is literacy so important? Literacy is important because literacy leads to consideration. The understanding that words can have nuance, context, and mean different things to different individuals allows for a consideration of an ideal that doesn't quite align with your own. And it's through that consideration that we learn to be more tolerant and more peaceful human beings. And so I think words have a power that people often undermine, and it's through this series and by sharing my definitions and my experiences of linguistics and the way in which I've understood them, adapted them, and adopted them into my everyday life can hopefully give you guys an insight into my style of consideration, and I am more than open to hearing about yours as well. So whether it's through one book, one essay, one story, or just a sentence, let's take this a word at a time and watch your mouth. The words that you say may be shaping your life more than you think. Thank you.